it's Troyia Monay, back to y'all with another video. Today's video is super exciting, as always. In today's video, I am going to be giving you guys the pros and the cons about private labeling. We're also going to be talking about what is private labeling and is it necessary for businesses who are just starting out, small businesses, and all that great stuff as well. So give this video a big thumbs up if you are excited about this topic. This is definitely one of my #1 asked questions during any of my coaching calls and always in my DMs or while I'm doing my Wind Down Wednesdays over at Her Hustle Academy. So make sure you guys go ahead and follow me over at Her Hustle Academy. Coaching sessions have been lit, you guys. So make sure you book a coaching session with your girl as well. So like I said earlier, this video, we are going to be chit-chatting it up about private labeling, the pros, the cons, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and what is private labeling. So, private labeling essentially is you purchasing inventory from a manufacturer or a distributor, wholesale, and you are changing the label within that clothing to reflect your brand. So you are turning the representation of one brand into a completely different brand. So essentially you are purchasing inventory from your vendors at wholesale, you're removing the tags within the clothing, and you may be removing any hang tags as well, and inserting your own brand name within that garment, you guys. So that is what private labeling is. A lot of manufacturers do offer private labeling as an additional service. So let's say you go through and you shop with the brand Zanana, for example. I'm going to be giving you guys an example as to private labeling later on. But if you're purchasing inventory from the vendor Zanana and you want them to go through and change that private label, with that label within, you can definitely reach out to them to do so. I don't know if they offer that service, but you can definitely contact them to ask. I don't think that they do, but they might, you never know. So any vendors that you go through and you shop with and you want private labeling services, you can definitely go through and request it. I know a ton of vendors on Alibaba.com offer you to go through and do some customization to your packaging, customization as far as labels, and I'll show you an example from Alibaba.com too when it comes to private labeling, you guys. So let's go ahead and jump right on into the pros and the cons. Mind you guys, this is my personal opinion, but y'all gonna see. So when it comes to private labeling, some of the pros, of course, is adding that extra branding element. Literally, if I'm out and about and someone goes, oh my gosh, where did you get that shirt, or where did you get that dress, or something like that, I can easily look into my tag and say, oh, I got it from such and such boutique, or I got it from such and such online store, or anything like that. So if someone asks you where you got something and you don't remember, it's a great, reminder as to where you got that purse, where you got that item. Another great thing is, let's say you go through and I have this jacket on and I sell this jacket to someone because I don't wear it anymore or anything like that, and that person really likes that piece of clothing. They're going to look at the tag and they're going to then go through and research to find that company. So that's why it's great to go through and offer private labeling, but later on we're going to talk about the reason why I don't think that it's 100% necessary. So going through and adding that extra branding element is going to be great when it comes to private labeling and marketing. Another pro is hiding your vendors' names, you guys. So definitely going through and hiding the names of your vendors. So I have a pair of biker shorts here that I sell on my site, and as soon as you open it, boom, what do you have? The vendor's name right there. Lo and behold, Zanana is the vendor of these biker shorts. So if you are a huge company, I recommend going through and doing private labeling, so that way you can kind of hide your vendors' names, so that way, no one knows exactly where you're purchasing your inventory from. And especially is great for manufacturing purposes as well. So if I wanted to go through and I wanted to design this jacket that I have on and I wanted to manufacture it, at that point, if I'm offering some type of custom pieces, it all kind of already makes sense for me to go through and do private labeling for the rest of my pieces as well. So it's no point in kind of having your own logo on the pieces that you're creating and designing and customizing yourself, but going through and changing it on some of the wholesale pieces that you offer too. So that's going to be great if you offer custom pieces and you offer wholesale kind of at the same time, going through and kind of just private labeling it up. And offering it to your customers that way, so everything's kind of a little bit more cohesive on that side. But y'all, that's all the pros I got. Y'all know how I feel about stuff, and when it comes to the cons, there is quite a bit of cons. So some of the cons when it comes to private labeling is going to be that extra cost. You have to make sure that you have that extra budget in order to do private labeling. A lot of these companies, a lot of these third-party services that offer private labeling are going to want you to have a MOQ, minimum order quantity. And a lot of them want to go through, and they only offer private labeling services if you are in between 75 to 100 pieces. And that is a lot of inventory pieces, you guys. So a lot of us who are just starting out, we may not even have 75 pieces of inventory to even get private labeling. So give or take, you never know. But it is not only going to be that extra cost with going through and having to private label that 75 to 100 pieces of clothing. Sometimes they do offer labor fees, so those labor fees can kind of be a little bit hefty, and they are going to charge you per piece that they are changing that label within your clothing. So that can definitely range from anywhere between 50 cents to about $1 per piece, you guys. So if you have 75 pieces, that is going to be the fee for that. And then they are also going to usually charge you a labor service fee as well. But of course, that's going to be depending upon whatever service you use, or if you are going to be using the wholesale vendor and asking them if they can go through and change that label for you guys. So the extra cost is definitely going to be a con. The next con is going to be, it is time consuming, you guys. So this is a process a little bit as to how it works. So let's say I am buying this jacket from one of my vendors, and I am using a third-party private labeling service, which means instead of asking my vendor to go through and change the tags, I am using a third-party service, kind of like a middleman, for example, and I'm asking them to go through and change the actual tags because they offer it as a service. So I reached out to the third-party private labeling company, and instead of getting my inventory shipped to me, I'm shipping my inventory to that private labeling company. It can be time consuming, you guys. A lot of these companies work with mega companies who they are going through and changing the labels for thousands and thousands of clothing. So you think they're gonna be worried about your little small business and making sure that they are on time? If it's a great company, yes, they will, but for the most part, you're just gonna be put on the back burner. So that means that it's gonna take you a long time for you to receive that inventory back. So it already takes enough time for vendors to send us inventory. So imagine us going through sending our inventory to our third-party private labeling company, and then having to wait for them to go through and change the labels, and then having to wait for it to be shipped to us directly. That is time consuming. It can take a lot of time, especially for our smaller businesses. When we need our inventory promptly, we need it on time, especially if you have a really good inventory flow and you are pushing inventory out. The faster you push inventory out is the faster you need it to come back to you. So that private labeling time frame is really time consuming and can kind of affect those new arrivals that you want to come into your store, you guys. So that is a con. Another con, another reason why I don't recommend private labeling is if you are going to be offering a lot of trendy pieces that you see a lot of other boutiques having, if it's anything trendy that you're finding wholesale, we already know that it's wholesale. So if you go through and put your label on it, it's like we already seen this a lot of places. So it's like, did you steal the design? Did you? So if you are going to be going through and selling a lot of these trendier pieces, a lot of these trendy dresses, a lot of these things that other boutique owners have, everybody's gonna know that it's wholesale. So it's no point in you going through and kind of changing the label on it, because it's kind of a waste of money. We already know that it's wholesale anyway. So that is going to be a couple of the cons when it comes to private labeling. There are several different ways that you guys can private label as well. You can private label using the actual clothing tag. So right here, like I showed you guys earlier, we have the tag right here, Zanana, and then once you flip it up, you have some fabric and wash details here as well. Or you can private label using hang tags, and that is the way that I private label, you guys. It's not really private labeling, but it kind of in a sense is private labeling, and it is the most effective way in my opinion for smaller businesses, and it kind of adds that branding element and that branding touch to your business as well, you guys. So this is how I do it. I go and get a bunch of business cards, and let me show you guys these are all of my business cards, and I create business cards into hang tags. So right here, I'm going to show you guys one of them. Right here we have my hang tag, and it just says Wanted Wardrobe, which is the name of my boutique. On the back, it just says, thank you for shopping with us. You have a small blurb of our return policy. You have some ways that you can stay connected, and then you have a small quote down there at the bottom as well, which is a Bible verse. So this is what I do. This essentially is a business card, but I use these as hang tags because purchasing actual hang tags from a lot of these printing companies literally cost way too much. So I literally got 500. I think this might be 500 or it might be 1,000. I don't remember how many these are. But it is a lot of hang tag business cards in here. And what I do is I purchase these, and these are going to cost anywhere between less than $20 for sure. Probably less than $15. So I go through and I purchase these in bulk. And then what I do is I purchase a hole puncher. And this is a small hole puncher. So if you guys can see really, really close, that dot there on the top part, that is how small the hole puncher is. And I believe I got this from Joann's Fabric. So I'm going to turn it the right way up. I take my hole puncher and I make sure that I don't hole punch the actual wording. I put a hole in it. Mind you, I do like several of these at one time. Hole punch several at one time. But for the sake of this video, I'm only going to do one. And then, boom, I get me a tagging gun. Tagging gun, got this from either Staples or I got it from Amazon, and I have a bunch of backup plastic tags here as well. I take this off, I go through and I put the business card within that hole into the actual needle part, and I never like to go through and add it to the tag. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, depending on the fabric, but I like to go through and I add it to the thickest part of that actual garment. So the thickest part might be, you know, the seam right here on the side. So I see that there's an indication here. I'm gonna go there and we are going to tag this garment. Boom, boom. So now my garment is tagged right there on the side. So when I fold it up for my customer, I put it in my nice bag. First thing that they're gonna see when they open their package is my branding, which means that they're not gonna pay no attention to this logo in here. People do not care about what vendor you are using. Some people do, but a lot of people don't care. So the reason I do it on the side sometimes is because I don't want to draw attention to the actual vendor name. So by me doing it on the side and that being the first thing the customer sees when they see their actual package, they're like, oh, okay, she has that nice little branding element that makes them want to read it and all that great stuff as well. So this is usually how their item comes to them, just flat like this in an actual plastic layering and covering, and a plastic bag, and a wardrobe bag rather, and boom. That is the cheapest way to go through and add in some private labeling, you guys. You do not have to go out and spend money as well on a lot of these different private labeling services, you guys. Another way is to contact your manufacturer. So I'm going to show you guys some different manufacturers using my phone over here who have some private labeling. So I'm going to show you guys some examples by using Alibaba, and that is a great indication and a great way that you guys can definitely go through and add in private labeling, especially if that's something that you're interested in. So I'm going to go on Alibaba.com. I'm going to be using their app today, and I am going to go and we are going to go to my favorites section. And boom, these are all of my different favorite products or anything like that. But we are going to go to my suppliers, and I am going to choose one of the vendors I shop with most frequently. Don't ask me how to pronounce any of these names, but this is one of the vendors that I shop with most frequently over at Alibaba. And we are just going to go through and search through some of their clothing pieces, and I am going to show you whether or not some of these companies offer private labeling. So I'm going to choose just a random piece of clothing. Let's see what I'm going to choose. Let's choose this dress right here, for example. So this white dress right here, it is their hot selling women hollowed out A-line sleeveless ladies mini dress. And we are going to go down and see if they offer any private labeling. Usually these companies will say it, but sometimes, a lot of the time, they won't. Okay, so quick details, neckline, right here. We can kind of get a little bit product description. All right. Let's see if they offer it. High quality products, company, sewing, services. Let's see. Customized packaging requirement. Boom. That is an indication that they offer some type of private labeling for you guys. But keep in mind, when you guys are using any of these platforms, or if you are talking to your manufacturers, please note that they are going to do and require an MOQ. So right here, their question number 5 on their frequently asked questions is, can you offer label surface? Yes, with your design and details, we will make the label and sew it for you. Perfect. Boom. As you guys can see, they go through and they offer private labeling. So going through on Alibaba is going to be the easiest way for you to just know right off the bat if these companies and manufacturers offer private labeling right off the bat. If you are searching on Fashion Go or anything like that, they're not going to tell you. You're going to have to contact the manufacturer for them to ask them. But usually a lot of these vendors on Alibaba.com and manufacturers, a lot of them manufacture, which means create their own clothing. So that means a lot of them do go through and offer that private labeling service for you guys. And I'm actually really considering doing private labeling, especially since I am going through and I am manufacturing my own clothing lines coming up soon. So this is definitely going to be super dope for you guys who are looking for doing private labeling, and if you are interested in creating your own custom pieces as well. Another way that you guys can definitely do private labeling is going to be DIY style, which means you are going to do it yourself. So you can definitely get you a seam ripper as soon as you get your inventory pieces, and get you a seam ripper and kind of rip, you know, the actual tag out, and then go through and sew your new tag on. But you are gonna, of course, have to reach out to a third-party service to go through and actually print these labels for you, send them to you, and all you have to do is get a sewing machine and kind of sew it on yourself. So that is definitely another option for you guys to do as well. But like I said earlier, this is like my favorite option right here, is to just kind of add this hang tag, or you guys can go and visit Alibaba.com and have your manufacturer over there do it for you. That's going to be the cheapest way. A lot of these US based vendors are definitely going to have a pricey tag when it comes to private labeling, you guys. So I hope this video was helpful, gave you guys some good insight as to private labeling, some of the pros, some of the cons when it comes to private labeling. If you are interested in me doing a more detailed video on how to find private labeling companies, how to find manufacturers who offer private labeling, definitely give this video a thumbs up, or let me know down below and I'll definitely do that video for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.